Look out your window. If you're lucky, you'll see green forest preserves and clear blue lakes spanning a horizon dotted with serious high-rises and whimsical recreations. On the city outskirts, there's Epcot's Spaceship Earth, and downtown, the skyscraper built on top of a skyscraper at 200 South Orange. This is Orlando. Beyond the theme parks and businesses, a different kind of showpiece draws you to an artistic oasis in the middle of the city with an international story of its own to tell. Welcome to Skylines Decoded.
To many, Orlando means theme parks. But when you go to Orlando proper, you do see that richness of local artists and entrepreneurs far outweigh the parks. I personally love to use the Mills 50 area as kind of a sketchbook. As a muralist, I tend to like to get into those back roads a little bit more and seek out that public art, and to me, that's taking inspiration from those who've gone before me. And I think that the more public art there is, the more engaged the community will be around it. This is Lake Eola Park, the centerpiece of Orlando's downtown. When you first enter Lake Eola Park, no matter what side of the lake you come in from, it's kind of hypnotic. You're passing all of these different sculptures, and they're incorporating movement and nature. It's right in the middle of the city. It's kind of like Orlando's Central Park. I really wanted to do a mural focusing on Lake Eola for all of the different architecture and structure. I wanted it to be whimsical and playful and fun. What's so different about the Centennial Fountain is that it's this giant bulbous structure that comes up out of the water, and it's teal, and then when the lights go off and there's all these different colors happening and then water shooting up out of it, it almost looks like a little tiny greenhouse. One of the pieces that absolutely stands out is the red Chinese ting, or as we locals call it, the pagoda. You walk up to it, you start to recognize more details in the architecture that is so strikingly different to everything else you see in Orlando.
As you get closer, you do start to see those little edges and how every single shingle on the roof has a pattern pressed into it.
It's a really powerful statement piece, and it's even more interesting to know its backstory and why it came here in the 80s. It was donated by Dr. Nelson Ying in 1987. It honors the sister city relationship with Guilin, which also has a lake with several pagodas of its own. This was a gift to the city. It was actually built in Shanghai and had to be disassembled, shipped to Orlando, and reassembled in the park. When I go to Lake Eola, I love to take my sketchbook with me. Just sitting down and looking around, inspiration will strike you. I think Lake Eola is the perfect place for the community to gather and have that space to share time and enjoy nature in one place that takes you away from all the hustle and bustle, to just sit and enjoy the outdoors.
Awesome to be here. Oh, he says we're muted.
Yeah, they're muted. You guys have to unmute yourselves. Hit the button. There it is. Nailed it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. As you saw in that specific video, absolutely fantastic. My name is Billy Floyd. It's Kitchen Killers. It's Monday night, baby. This is the Rewind, the Wrap-Up. Right now, a community conversation. It's been many things. The community conversations have always been one of my favorites. And as seen in that beautiful video, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, KALUOHS.
Happy to be here. Appreciate it. Always good to be back in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. You look very natural in the kitchen. You and Fritz and me just hanging out. I dig it.
He's tipping the hat to you, sir.
He is tipping the hat. So we just let's talk about that. The video we just saw, I saw a couple logos in the bottom of the right. There was one that said Atlas Obscura.
Yes, an obscured atlas.
And then another one which we recognize said Delta.
Delta.
Now that's like the Delta
airline. That's like Delta.
Like
that's
the
BD.
we love to fly and it shows.
Yeah, big D Delta.
That's a big deal, is what she means. Big deal. It's fantastic. So this is a community conversation. It's most certainly one of the things that I like the most about this is being able to interact with our community and see what's going on. And it's so cool. You were just here a couple Fridays ago. We had Chef Dane Brevoort, Anthony Vivona, Michael O'Brien, and we had a house full of incredible people and awesome people. You were here just a couple weeks ago. We chatted. You came by last week. We did a little brainstorming sesh. What are we going to talk about?
It's
like
still
cool.
Don't know.
The
we
things,
still figured it out right now.
The things that we do and how we move forward, and it kind of all ties together. So the video that you just saw, this is KALUOHS has been a part of the Central Florida community for how long?
I have lived in Orlando since 2015.
2015.
So we're coming up on a decade.
Nice.
And that's when I bought the house. Was 2015. Moved up from Miami. And
did you own a house in Miami?
No.
So rented in Miami.
Rented in Miami.
Came to Orlando.
Bought the house
Brilliant.
when it was good.
Brilliant.
And then sold it this year. So all the times have changed, and now
almost a decade in.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's a big investment because throughout my life, as I've moved, I was born in Ohio, lived there till I was 11, moved in Minnesota until I was about 20.
Okay.
And then
snow,
Colorado, just a little bit.
To more snow.
But it is a lot of snow. But the mountains make it worth
beautiful.
it. But it's about 10 years the most I've ever stayed anywhere. So I'm kind of nearing that itch.
Yeah.
So
you're like, what else is out there?
But definitely
now the house you sold
Florida some respect.
was the art house. We've
the
crashed
art
that kitchen many a time.
Thrice.
I think we've tried to
have
play
the
a song
nine
from each one of the rooms at one point. It was like, we're going to
was
play a song
chaos.
from every single room. And we went around to the different rooms, and because there was so much artwork. There's so much
In front of every
creativity in
hero.
there.
Yeah.
And you kind of seem like even in the video that we were just chatting about, part of the things that you were kind of, walking and narrating was the specific types of art, the murals and the dedications and the donations and Lake Eola and the fountain and just kind of all a little bit of the history that comes along with showing how kind of diverse Orlando always has been in my experience, in my opinion, always kind of a melting pot where everybody was welcome. Your beliefs and your ideas and your structures and your ideologies, it was all just like, it's just love. And there's a lot of different artwork. And the cool thing is like kind of bringing that community together, which is interesting how our circles, you and I, how that whole thing happened, where it started. When I met you first in person, I didn't know that I already knew you, and I followed you as an artist on Instagram
I didn't
for
know
quite
that
some
I was
time.
reputable enough to be recognized
Oh,
first as a cosplayer and not as kind of me and
Oh,
my
yeah.
muggle job.
Yeah, not everybody. Some muggles don't have muggle jobs. We won't talk about that. But how that's come through cosplay, which is, I think I met you as John Constantine.
Yeah.
And then to kind of continue to work together. Cool. How are we getting involved in our community? And the network has always been fun. It's always been kind of motivational. It's always been growing and growing. We've been involved in a couple of things when you've worked with a couple of the previous projects you've worked with. We've done events or there was
Live
a
streams
there was a
from
live
Art
stream.
House.
We did. There was an event last year with a charity run that went on, and we got to play a little music and run a little sound. We had some musicians. We had flowers. We had the trailer. It was fantastic.
So many things we've done.
We had
things.
dog treats. There was an
Yeah.
ice cream purveyor there that was supplying delicious
Amazing.
like yogurts and ice creams. That was really, really good. Kelly's.
Shout out to Kelly's Ice Cream.
Like we've done some stuff.
They're fun. And I think the key that keeps coming up to me with all of that is inspiration, because with diversity comes the ability to learn from other people.
Yeah,
and
for
if there's
sure.
no diversity, then you're just swimming in a really boring fish tank.
It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's
Talk
if
about
you
that.
only make chairs, you're only going to make a better chair than that person's
and
going
you
to
could
make a
have the
better
best
chair.
chairs, but you're
Yeah.
only looking
What about
at
the
chairs
couches?
like, couches, lounges. What? There's like asymmetrical
What about
situations
ottomans?
happening. Like,
What about bunk beds?
Yeah.
Bunk beds are brilliant.
So I do miss that as an adult.
Yeah.
The ability
Bunk
to
beds?
have a bunk bed.
Yeah.
I never want the top bunk anyway. It's just the fact
Yeah.
that it's there. It makes me feel like it's a castle, and I like to be underneath it.
I had one friend that had a bunk bed when I was like coming up in high school. One friend had a bunk bed. It was always cool to kind of hang out in the bunk bed because it was just very different. I didn't have a bunk bed. I was like, he's the only one with a bunk bed. Oh, this is cool. He's like, I sleep on the top. I was like, cool. I don't care.
It's super claustrophobic up there. Absolutely horrible.
I don't want to be that close to the ceiling.
no,
I
thank
like
you.
being closer to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't fall out of my bed at night after having weird dreams, but if I just happen to, I'm 6 feet in the air now.
I don't think anybody thinks about sleep and goes, you know what would make this better? Height.
I want to be higher, just in case.
Let's go as high as we can.
Just in case.
I think that's where
Yeah.
I'll sleep the best.
I'm playing the floor is lava in my dream, just in case. And now all of a sudden, I can't feel my face. And what's going on? I wake up, I'm on the carpet.
I have,
Hopefully,
like,
they don't have
popcorn,
hardwood
the
floors.
popcorn ceiling.
Yeah.
Just to put in your eyes. It's not goobers. You have popcorn.
Michelle says, I want a double-decker sofa.
That would be deluxe. Actually, isn't that the new design for airplanes with the lazy boys?
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen that.
it's so terrifying.
I've seen it a couple times. I'm like,
gonna get a
listen, on
heel to the
paper,
eye.
yeah, on paper it's perfect. Once you put into the human variable,
A child,
Yeah.
toddler from the top comes yanking
no. They spill their Cheerios and milk onto the seat underneath them, and it falls between the
Or
crevasses.
just dropping a phone. You catch
Terrible.
one to the temple, you're
yeah,
out. Like,
dude,
that is
you
a liability.
You catch a
like,
Galaxy 6 to the face.
I've been doing this. I've
Somebody's
been
in
just doing this, and
trouble.
I've dropped it on myself. Like, from that distance,
I've
it
done
is
that.
concussion worthy.
Yo, that's why I think I have the O3. It's kind of like a collapsible pop socket, but it goes all the way into it, and it works
I've
with
got a
MagSafe.
kickstand.
So this allows me to not. But I've done that before.
Yeah,
I've done it where you're
tragic.
kind of looking at you're just falling asleep. You don't even realize you're falling asleep. You know, sometimes when you're
It
falling
wakes you
asleep,
up.
your eyes start to kind of same
Oh.
thing, except you catch an iPhone in the face. It happens
And
sometimes.
segueing into Pinch Me, I Think I'm Sleeping, that video, am I right? That
Oh
was,
yeah. Yo, that was it was interesting. How long of a shoot was that?
It was a whole day.
So 8
I
hours?
actually got paid to be a professional actress.
Nice.
I was scouted.
As you should.
I was scouted so this is keep your social medias up and clean,
Listen,
people. Like, you
people-
get jobs.
people
I
are
got
watching.
scouted from my Instagram.
People are watching. Now we saw a Delta logo. Is that where we can see it on the planes? Like, where do we see that?
Yes. So I found out about this opportunity when, like I said, they approached me through my social channels. But the reason that they're doing this is that Delta has a promotion that they're promoting a bunch of the big hubs of where their locations are.
Nice.
So Seattle, Atlanta, Boston, Minneapolis, Orlando. There's 12 total. I'm not listing them all. And so they wanted to work with Atlas Obscura, which is a company that does like off the beaten path, creative sightseeing.
Sure.
So the biggest ball of yarn, a place where someone died, a place where a creepy
Yeah,
killer
that's where
person was
Atlas
born.
Obscura steps
That's
in and
where-
says, "Let's do something about that."
Yeah, so their partnership then is to say, well, your mission is all about the weird, interesting, off the beaten path stuff.
Yeah.
And you're Delta with this magnitude of all these locations.
Right.
Let's team up
Right.
and talk about the weird, quirky little things about these hubs that everybody knows.
And there's a hub in Orlando.
So that's why they wanted to make this video, and they're really specific. That's how I knew it wasn't spam, because they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
so specific about Lake Eola.
You're
and they're
like,
like this thing about Lake, and I was like, that's interesting. Like,
This may not be complete BS.
I know. And so the reason that they said they found me is that when I did the mural for Wall Crawl,
Right.
which is shout out to Wall Crawl because they didn't get a shout out in that
What's up,
video,
Wall Crawl?
and they used your footage, but it's good. It's a great opportunity. I did the mural because it
Yeah.
was Florida themed.
Yeah.
And so when these people in Austin go to make the video about Lake Eola for Delta and Atlas Obscura,
Sure.
you see where this is coming together.
For sure.
They start Googling Lake Eola, artist, like, and I'm the one who made this mural about Lake
Absolutely.
Eola. So I pop up in all the
They're like,
results.
who's
It's super
Sarah-
relevant.
yeah,
They're
who's
like,
KALUOHS?
check out KALUOHS page. They go and they tell me they find my YouTube show,
Sure.
The Faces of KALUOHS.
Absolutely.
They started watching. They're like, we like her energy on camera. Let's go. Let's get her.
What do you mean
in.
you
So
have good camera
then
energy?
I interviewed and they liked it, and we chatted about what it would be.
Was your first interview like a Zoom interview? Was it over
was.
the phone?
And it was me and the person who scouted me and the person who I was emailing, and then the rep from Atlas Obscura. So Delta
Straight to
didn't need
the-
to be in it, but
yeah.
it was like the Atlas
Yeah,
Obscura
yeah.
person was there because they wanted to
Right
make sure
now.
I fit the vibe. I got the
Wow.
vibe check from Atlas Obscura.
right away. Like
That
meeting
was
one.
the most intimidating Zoom call of my life. I
You're
think.
like, email,
That's it.
cool, I'm interested.
Oh,
Bam,
yeah.
main guy with Atlas Obscura. You're like, oh,
Main lady.
hello.
She was intimidating.
really?
Yeah.
Really? Now, the person who scouted you, they kind of had your back. They were promoting you. They were like, yo, this is...
I think what was interesting is there's a person I was corresponding with via email.
Yeah.
And that's the person that I thought was like giving me the most information.
Gotcha.
They were the person from social media to email, like with, the rapport.
Sure.
The person who scouted me is just like some guy who
Yeah.
found me in Austin.
Just some guy.
He just showed up on the Zoom and is like the guy who scouted me.
He's
who's
like,
the
"Hi."
producer. He wasn't even the guy who was on location. Like he was so far removed. He was just like
Wow.
the guy who found me.
Really?
Like a scout. Yeah.
Man, that's very
It was
interesting.
very interesting behind the scenes.
Yeah, people are scouting. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're looking for content. They're looking for people. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They, especially when you're talking about something obscure. When you're talking about, okay, what is off the beaten path? You gotta dig
But
into
I
that.
still thought it was interesting because of my followership. Like,
Sure.
sure, I might be able to speak on that topic, but I have like less than 2,000 followers on
Yeah.
my social media account. So for people to look at my account and say, "Oh, she's going to be the wealth of knowledge
Right.
or the influencer for this area," I feel a little imposter syndrome. But
Really?
yeah, but with my knowledge of the main streets and the work that I've done in some other ways, I do feel very well equipped to have done that. So
Yeah, no,
it's a
absolutely.
little bit of a balance.
I mean, and it was very interesting too. Now, a lot of that stuff that you were talking about, we touched on a mural, a mural. We touched on Lake Eola. We touched on the ducks. You know, we touched on just the band shell was shown a couple different times, which
Yeah.
is super cool. The fountain shown a
Oh.
couple different times, and this is just how do you know information about this? Did you do research? Like to get the fine details, but you kind of, because you've been in Orlando for a hot minute, and you've been involved in the Central Florida community. You've been involved with a specific just events and coordinating events and working with a lot of different people around Central Florida. A lot of times spending time in those specific areas. Like, do you think that played into their decision of you being that person, or do you think they already wanted you because you had the vibe and they figured you could do the research, work on the script, and be that person?
Here's how I'll answer that. I don't know how many other people they were considering. So I don't know if
I
they did
gotcha.
have other interviews or if they were like, this is the lady, she painted the mural, no questions asked, it's
Gotcha.
happening, right? So that's how I probably think about it in my brain. But in
Right.
reality, they could have had other people that
Sure.
were contenders. And I really have spent a lot of time in that park.
Yeah.
I do live near it. I've spent a
nice.
lot of time downtown. I've biked around it. I was going to say I ran around it. I have not. I've watched people run around me around it. It has a lot of charm. It has a lot of rough spots, which
Yeah.
I don't think they realized how many spots were a little bit rougher
Sure.
pockets of the park. But in general, it's very nice. It's very good to be
Yeah.
there. There are many events that are there.
Oh, yeah.
There are some people
I've been
that
in a
I know.
couple
Shout
farmers
out
markets
to,
there. A lot of
Novella.
people driving and riding bikes,
There's
just sitting in the
Nathan's
grass.
Love. That
Oh, yeah.
I keep hitting this because I talk with my hands too much.
No, you're good.
It's
you
really
just gotta.
painful. No, it's when
It's okay to talk with your hands.
I had my arm in a sling once, and I couldn't talk. If I was holding something, I had to put it down to be able to.
You're like, it doesn't work if I don't do this.
I need to sit on them.
You're like, no, I
I'm
refuse.
like a child. I need a fidget spinner. Where's that shaker egg?
Where is the shaker egg? I need it.
No,
I
that'll
do have
just-
to
that'll
find
make it
those.
more
I have to find
obvious.
those. You should just be shaking it. It's not even any music going on.
Is there a rattlesnake around here?
So you were saying, we were talking about, was the decision bring in Sarah this great energy and she can speak about the things that are in Central Florida, or you do have some personal experience with the events, with artwork, with the
Yeah,
people you've worked
and I
with?
still think it's a little of both because if somebody was an influencer in the way
Yeah.
that I think would be qualified in
Right.
the way that I'm not thinking that I am, then they might not have been able to speak to all of the nuances of the park
Yeah.
and how much I really do enjoy the nature, which I think was really sweet. And I keep saying the word charming when I watch that video and the pieces that they left in there. And I know we kind of talked behind the scenes that there's a lot of manufactured joy in
Sure.
that video of the whole day and things that were cut and things that
But you
we
like
really
said
hope for it to be
8-hour
there.
day.
Yeah, an 8-hour day.
Full
and,
day.
And how the plans changed even from their original version because
Sure.
when they pitched this to me, we were supposed to take swan boats around the lake.
Gotcha.
And this all devolved because they wanted to shoot in the afternoon.
Gotcha.
And anybody in Florida
No.
knows
Are
what
you
happens in the
crazy?
afternoon. So we did the voiceover in the morning and we shot in the
Yeah.
afternoon. and
Either
then
you
we
burn
got-
or you're going to get soaked.
we got
One or the
rained
other.
out,
Yeah.
And we got trapped. So in some
Exactly.
of those scenes, we were only there because it was the
was raining.
circumstances. Yeah.
Gotcha. They still pushed through. Got a great video.
Well, you had to. They were
Beautiful.
only there one day. Then they had to go to
Yeah.
shoot Miami.
If
so.
you look at it, business wise, so like socially wise, or even image wise, it's like KALUOHS connected with Delta, huge. That's huge. Atlas Obscura, huge.
Huge.
You know, and it's a well edited video. I have to ask you this because I didn't really think of it until you kind of brought it up. Those really kind of close up, beautiful shots where you're drawing and you're writing and you can see there's a little like heightened motion on it. I imagine that's a drone doing that. And although we get beautiful shots, one of the things we talked about was the audio editing. Now this I don't know. Like I have a drone, but it is not a drone like to that degree. Are they loud or are they quieter?
It was terrifying. It looked like, I don't even know what is nearby that is the size of this, but it was probably about this big.
Okay.
Right next to my face.
Really?
And it was probably as far as you are from me.
So the drone's here.
The drone is your head. And it's about 5 times louder than that. It is like an angry, like have
Very
you ever
mad
watched
bee.
Jumanji?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Those huge hornets or whatever they were.
It was one, and it was just hovering. And the worst part is you have to look really calm, and you're drawing, and you can't look at it or like flinch.
Yeah, you can't
when
acknowledge it's there.
And what I think is most terrifying is the precision. Like it was there, and it was.
Could you
hovering.
feel the wind?
Yeah, it was like it had its little wings going.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And then it just started like, and that's the shot it gets to where I think
Yeah.
at the end where it's like,
Kind of
we're going way
spins
in the
up.
park.
Looks really really pretty. Kind of
and I
comes up
knew-
behind you and shows the lake. It's
and
gorgeous.
I'm a professional, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew. I was like, it's for the shot. We are
Get
gonna
in the shot.
bury it inside.
You're like, this
Movie
is
magic.
We're artists. We're artists. This is what it takes to be an artist. People don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, they see the artwork. You know, that's what they see. They're like, oh, that's beautiful. That's glorious. And then you
We went
see the
through the
history.
mud.
You see the history. You're like, just
We were on the
going through
corner of
everything.
Colonial and Mills in the rain. There's not even crosswalks. There's not even sidewalks. And I'm like, you're paying me to do this?
And it keeps going. The name of KALUOHS keeps going.
It was.
Keep moving and shaking.
And I think what I think was most striking is I did not pursue this opportunity.
Yeah.
Again, I was scouted. And so
Yeah.
this, I don't want to say it fell into my lap because it was obviously very coordinated,
No, well,
but I was
it took work for you to get there to be noticed.
the right things were in aligned for
Yeah, yeah.
this to come down.
The planets aligned.
Plinko, right?
And I still think with success there is some luck. You know, people say, no, it's all talent. Listen, I know a
It's
lot
timing.
of really talented people
'Cause I've
and
had
really
opportunities
driven
I didn't
people
have time for,
that have
so.
worked really, really hard and they didn't get discovered. I know people that have put in hours and they're brilliant and they're great and they're fantastic and they network and they do their absolute best. Like there's always a little sliver of luck that kind of comes in and goes bloop. And that little luck was Atlas Obscura.
Yep.
Going, hey, I found, hey from Texas.
Actually, it was the Austin group. So
Yeah.
it wasn't even like the Atlas Obscura people were like, go find our talent.
Yeah. It was an Atlas group. It was an Austin group.
Just a media company. Like,
A
you
media
know, do you
company
know
that was
Oxenfree?
not Atlas
Do you know
Obscura.
Here locally, do you know Oxenfree?
Yeah.
Oxenfree Film and Motion.
Yeah.
Arthur
Oh, awesome.
and them. So it would be like them in Austin.
In Austin.
Exactly. So it's like a media company. Like
Interesting,
that.
because
That
I always try to follow the
contracted.
trail. So exactly, that got contracted by Atlas Obscura to find talent in
Oh, yeah.
Orlando.
So Delta's like, yo, Atlas, we in on
Yeah.
this? And then they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
like, Austin, you in?
Atlas, and they were
Austin's
like,
like,
hey
"We're on it,
Austin,
Ben."
hey Austin, we need you to research these 3 cities, and one of the cities was 12. We need. Oh, they did all 12.
They did all 12.
So they reached out
And
to
they were
Orlando.
tired. They had already done some of
They
them.
dived in.
and
They were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Who made that? KALUOHS. Who's that? Let's look at KALUOHS. Oh, she has a YouTube channel. Let's watch her.
all of
Good
it.
vibe.
They watched all of it.
Good vibe. She's doing that. She's doing that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't have something national, but I had something similar. It was at the school board. I didn't get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, the bill.
But so they sought you out. They said, hey, Atlas Obscura, we found KALUOHS in Orlando for our Orlando representative. This is who we recommend. And they go, okay, cool. Let's set up a meeting. And
Yeah.
boom, you're in a meeting. First meeting.
Scariest Zoom.
And then they said, we dig it.
Yeah. And then I was on it. And then, but then.
Was there a
but then-
follow-up meeting or was
so
was that it?
Then there was a lot of like, I've been happily dating Jordan for the last 3.5 years.
We love you, Jordan.
But it really felt like that. Felt like, are you going to text me back? Kind of
Like,
we had this
hello?
really great Zoom and like the energy
We had a
was
great.
there.
What does
like,
this mean?
What does this mean
What
for
does
us?
this
Are we
mean?
official?
Listen,
Is there paperwork?
Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Where are we? We need to figure out
Yeah.
where this relationship
Can we
is
just
going.
like firm up some like labels on
Yeah.
this? So it felt like that, which was good.
Listen,
for the
we need
newness,
security.
but
We need security. We need to know.
I needed answers.
Yeah, I need some
I
answers.
was immediately needy. So
How do
then
you feel
me
about
and
the-
the correspondent person worked very well together
Yeah.
because I at least got her in writing saying
Gotcha.
we're on.
Awesome.
So that screenshot
That
got me through a couple
validation, that sense
weekends.
of you're like, oh, okay, gotcha. Got you through. Yeah, you're like, no,
Yeah.
it says we're on. It says we're on. We're
But-
great.
So then we did it, and then I had to wait a month, and then they
Yeah.
were like, "It's just going to come out sometime soon." So we were talking about the fact that I found the link and where
Yeah.
the link would be on the
She
website.
deduced.
I'm a little bit of a
She's a smart cookie.
Shoulak Holmes, if you will.
Since when were the cookies smart? She's a smart banana. Like, would that
I
still
thought those candies
could be
were
smart
called
and
Smarties.
Smarties? Yeah,
I mean,
she's a smart
Why do we
pancake.
need to improve upon it? It's already called it.
It's already called. She's a smartie.
So you can't see it on other airlines.
So she did. No, it's just
But
just
it's
Delta.
But when you go to Delta, you have free Wi-Fi. So when you go to Delta, so
Yeah.
this is Billy goes
Yeah.
and takes a flight.
I think what he's saying
Hops on
is,
Delta.
let's scrub out Delta and put in another airline, superimpose it, and then we'll hack into the software and put them on all the airlines.
If you want to take that side hustle,
We're not going to do that. I don't condone that.
By
I
all
don't
means.
think we should do that. I'm just
Do
saying,
it. Do
if
it.
there was a
Do
movie
it.
plot,
If you're gonna do it, do it now.
if there was a movie plot, do it.
Sorry, it's like the. I don't know.
Don't do that. I mean,
I'm
do
just
it.
an enabler.
Do it and tell us how it goes. We don't want to know.
I didn't tell you to do it, but
We're also saying,
somebody might have told you to do it.
yeah, you know what?
I
Follow
just
your
think
heart.
It's okay to be yourself.
Follow
That's-
your
yeah,
heart.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, be creative.
And that's going back to the video. They left in me talking to the swans, and that's how I know
Yeah.
that corporation.
They
has
left a
some
couple
kind of
things
soul.
in. Go and watch it. There's a couple
Yeah,
Easter
there's
eggs in
Easter
there.
eggs.
You check
Go
it out.
find.
How about this?
Look
I'll tell
really
you
closely.
this. There's a specific Easter egg that we're referring to right now, and if you find it, send me your address. I'll send you a free Kitchen Killer shirt,
I
whatever
will
size you
double
need.
it, whatever that is.
She's like, I'll
match
send you
it.
2 Kitchen Killer shirts. Wait,
and a guitar.
wait.
Billy's guitar. This one. This one.
This guitar
Yeah.
right here.
If you find the Easter egg that we're talking about right now, you screenshot it and you send it to us.
It
this
would be
guitar,
interesting.
it'll be-
It would be interesting to see. It
I'm
would
gonna
be
put it out
interesting to
there.
see. It's
We'll
out
put
there.
it in the universe.
There are a couple of them in there. There are a couple of them in there. So all in all, did you feel it was a good video that represented the 8 hours of shooting? Like, you did think they, aside from like the weather, because you said there were some changes, there were some things like in the 4 minutes that they had to truncate that down to. Do you feel like they got the energy of it?
I think that between the work that we did before the shooting, the voiceover work, and the questions that were asked there, and there was a lot that we didn't talk about where they
Yeah.
ask about my experiences with the lake and the park and things like that, and then where we did all this different shooting. I'm a professional and I've done video specifically, so I know what can be. I know what can be condensed, right?
Yeah.
So I don't expect.
Yeah.
I'm not this person who's like, oh well, they cut out this and they cut out this. Like, I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
mad about. Like, I know the cutting room floor concept.
Sure.
But I think what I'm most proud about is that it's a really cohesive finished product, and
Nice.
it's something that I'm proud of. It's
Yeah.
something that I got really excited when it was released to go send it. Like I was telling you, this hat that I wore in the video is burned by a local artist here in Orlando.
The one
She does
Fritz
the
is
burning
wearing.
and then paints it, and
That's
it's
so
called Bow
cool.
Hippie Express. So as soon as it was released, I sent the video to her and I said, your hat is now in Delta
Yeah.
in-flight entertainment.
Absolutely.
So you get to like be in these praises too. And that's why it's not just
Networking
my
and marketing.
success. It's the fact that, hey, who can I include in this?
Yeah.
And we tried to get the Main Street people involved. We tried to get local restaurants involved. That's
Yeah.
part of
Even
what
your
got cut.
wardrobe, we were talking a little
Yeah.
bit about that as well.
Yep, my tailored clothes got a shout out. So that's when we go back to our connections and Art House and all these other connections, it's having no ego.
Yeah.
Because you're saying,
That's the
I
whole
want
thing.
to be able to connect you to who you need, and it might not be me.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it recently.
For sure.
That I call myself a muralist, and they have me out here rubbing on these walls, and it's not.
If you
I'm
want
not a-
Kaluohs to rub on your walls, you'll have to ask Jordan first. She's probably going to say no anyway,
I
but you
have
could
a
try it.
minimum, there's-
Probably going to
So
be a no.
The point is, I don't really specialize in outdoor murals.
Right.
And I feel like there was a little bit of that. Can I call myself a muralist if I don't do all types of murals?
Gotcha.
But I really do just prefer to do indoor murals
Right.
because of a number of reasons
Yeah.
that's just where I've honed it in.
Absolutely. You're definitely a muralist.
So yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I know, but then I feel like all the gigs that there are like big public outdoor
Yeah.
murals, and those are the ones that get sponsored, and those are
Yeah.
the ones people think of.
Those are the ones that are seen by
but
the
ones
public
that
and
are
everybody can see
inside,
them.
it's like someone's lobby or
Yeah.
a restaurant, and then you have to find those opportunities, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to connect with those people.
Sure, for sure.
So
And
I
I
think
imagine
that
there's
it's
a
different
network,
challenge. Yeah.
a network of muralists. You know, especially
You
in
think
yeah,
not a band of merry muralists?
yeah,
no.
just running around muralizing
No,
everything.
It's basically like Rambo.
Yeah.
We just like take a little bit of our shirt on the bottom. There's paint on it. We wrap it around our forehead. We just have brushes.
Just go into it.
That is a little bit more accurate of the mural scene in Orlando. There's no kumbaya, like
Yeah.
walk in together, Red Rover.
Well, and I
like-
think that's a big thing is like, and we're kind of talking about just the community in Central Florida and Orlando, and kind of
there's pockets of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how it kind of branches out, you know. And I found that you've been an ambassador from in between some groups sometimes, and like not like groups where they're having dance fights, but you know, groups of different types of artistic expression, with music, with art, with murals, with even the presentations, the video
Circus
editing,
people.
yeah, stuff with
I know people.
with costuming, you know, just kind of how it all
Well, 'cause
it all
it's-
ties together.
There's overlap when you're a creative person.
Yeah.
And this is, I've been thinking about this recently, doing some introspection. And I think
There
that
should always be overlap.
people who try a lot of different little things,
Yeah.
they learn things from those lessons. And it's like getting these little micro lessons.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking about it like a master class, like when you want to learn everything about a topic, there has to be that little first step, that little
Sure.
intro, just like a little niblet, like a little
Where you can
Reader's
get
Digest
confidence
version.
and then take that
Where
second
you just
step.
want to do an embroidery kit. You don't want to go down and
Yeah.
get all of the essentials
For
of
sure.
embroidery. And you want to learn these little skills. And I think I've done so much of that in my life
Yeah.
that's why there's overlap, because it went from doing recycled art in Miami.
Right.
If this is really like kind of where the saga starts, I did recycled art in Miami. And then recycled art, after going to MegaCon, turned into doing recycled cosplay props.
Right.
And then doing recycled cosplay props turned into doing makeup and being a makeup artist and
Right.
doing more special effects. And so all of these
That
things
kind of
just-
changed the game big
so
time.
everything just started rolling in,
Yeah.
and that's what launched Faces of KALUOHs. That's
Yep.
what launched the show. That's
Yeah.
what pushed that.
Yeah,
And
Faces of KALUOHs was a series as well.
That was.
Yeah,
Faces
I
of
think
KALUOHs was
that's how I found you,
and
was
I
on
live streamed on
Instagram,
Twitch,
and
yeah.
it was your like the incredible artwork that you were doing, the body painting and everything like that, where it was just insane.
Can I, since we're talking about that, I can answer this question.
I saw this. There was a couple of them up here.
Yeah, you
This
let
one
me
right here.
So I don't draw my own tattoos. There were some tattoos of mine that
We are live, by the way.
Yes.
Some people have been asking. They're like, "Is this
Oh, yeah.
because we were off for 2 months and we confused people? People were
I'm
really.
really here.
They're like, "Are you live?" I'm like,
I
"Yes,
feel
it
like
is October 30th,
30th.
2023 at 7:37
Yes.
p.m. We are live.
the
Yes.
current local time is.
Bring in your friends. Bring them in, ladies and gentlemen. The wonderful, the amazing KALUOHs are joining us tonight as we talk about community murals,
and whether
cotton
or not
candy.
my tattoos are mine.
installation, and whether or not she draws her own tattoos. Now, you do draw,
I do draw.
but you haven't drawn your own tattoos.
You know, let me think of some of them. I think that this one, I'm going to put it right on the microphone. So this one with the EPS right here with these little flowers.
Okay.
I think that I might have sketched that one out and
Okay.
given the concept
Like, hey,
to
this is
someone.
my thought.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then they formed it into that. I feel like that's the closest one that's left that was really my drawing or an
Sure.
idea. Otherwise, it was just kind of giving a concept. And I have a pretty strong opinion about non-tattoo artists drawing tattoos, and I've actually had people take
Yeah.
my art and get it tattooed, which I find to be probably one of the greatest honors that
Yeah,
people
for
that
sure.
somebody took my piece and then it's like a thigh. It's like not even a small tattoo.
Wow,
it's like
that's awesome.
a dude's thigh. It's huge. But what I think, and I really think is the most respectful way to go about it, is finding a tattoo artist
Yep.
who has a similar style to what
Yes.
you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
Tell them that vision, and you can have a
I agree.
friend sketch something up roughly to give them a starting point that you can work with them on. But do not. It's really rude to the tattoo artist, and I have too many friends who
Draw
are tattoo
this.
artists now. Yeah, and I used to do that, and I would print it out, and I thought I had this ego that I was going to take it in there. You put this. You put this on me, like it's the most condescending thing that you could do to someone in that profession that is such an art form.
Yeah.
So
and
the
sometimes
mi-
people don't know.
and
They're like, "Hey, I saw this cool thing. Can you do this?" And they're
And
like,
this?
"Sure."
This one,
Yeah. The one
with the hand.
one the hand. What are they holding?
It's holding a needle
I
with
see that.
a little strand.
Like a safety
of-
pin almost?
It's a sewing needle.
Oh, I see
And then
that.
it's like the
I see the
what
thread.
do they call it? It's not thread. It's the tape measure.
The
So
tape
it's wrapped
measure.
around it. It's hard to like point and talk in the microphone. So the point is that tattoo, it has a moment for me because
Yeah.
it was the first time that I gave my idea to an artist and they had nothing to do with it. They were like, "Nope, we're gonna do this," and then they showed me the drawing, and
You're
I was
like,
like,
"I like
"Wow,
that."
I am so floored!" Like I
You blew
just
me
gave
away.
you the idea,
Yeah.
and what I was trying to achieve, and they're like, "Nope, we're doing
No.
a hand," and I would have never walked in and be like, "I want a dismembered hand holding
Yeah.
a needle." Like it's the most.
What was your
beautiful-
original design?
So it's kind of that Pinterest idea of a tattoo, like when you open a sewing drawer and there's
Cool.
just an assortment of,
Cool.
there's a pin cushion and a spool of thread, and
Sure.
it looks kind of like a jumble of stuff.
Sure.
But I've seen that as a cool concept for tattoos. So that's what I gave them, and they were like, "No."
No. So the
And I
hand the
had
hand wasn't even your idea.
No, and I had the pinup girl, so I think he
Nice.
was like kind of going with that American traditional.
Yeah.
And shout out to Rise Above Tattoo.
Rise
in,
Above.
on Mills, I think that's the one right
Yeah.
there, and it's Aaron Murray is the guy who did it. It's like pivotal for me, like literally,
Yeah.
tattoo core memory. So So I stopped doing it. It's not my practice, but I have some friends who think differently, and to each their own. It's your body.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Sticker it the way you want.
It's interesting to see how people do it so differently. One of the things I immediately thought of, I watched a YouTube video the other day where multiple race teams came in, like Mercedes, BMW, Red Bull, Haas. They all came in and they had teams of young, brilliant minds that created AI coding to race a Formula One race car that was about this big.
Oh, cool.
And it was all AI versus AI. And they did it in the middle of like a big basketball court, and they just had, regular black tubing going around. But it was these robots versus AI to see who can complete the most laps and the fastest lap. That was the idea. And sometimes people think, okay, AI is AI. It's basically all running on the same framework. Not even remotely close. Every single team wrote code differently, used different programs, wrote different code, had different algorithms, had everything. The one guy that I watched was one dude. And he was a single guy who did everything. And he went up against Haas, BMW, Mercedes, which are teams of like 3, 4, and 5 people. So when he's talking about him creating the code, it was so, I thought, AI is AI, like what are you doing differently? But he's writing the AI code. And everybody's is so different competing against each other. And when I look at that, I'm like, look at all these different creative ways to create something similar that's being used in the same type of vein. So in regards to artwork, you could bring an idea to 5 different tattoo artists and get 5 different completely different ideas.
Because they have different styles.
It's
and
their
maybe different
style,
takes
yeah,
on it. Exactly.
absolutely. And I agree 100%. Find a tattoo artist that has a style you like, and then if you bring them something that you like,
I wouldn't even do it for my brother.
they
He
can
asked
they
me.
can they can find
I
that.
gave him the same
Yeah,
spiel.
they can style it up like you like.
And they're going to know what techniques they can do. They're
Yeah.
going to know what styles they
Yeah.
can pull off. They're going to know the thickness of the
Yeah.
lines they can do. And
And a
I
lot
just
of
feel
it
like
is
it's more
muscular
work.
too.
They're going to want to redraw anything you take them anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what you should probably know.
Yeah.
Like
I-
you can try.
I
but-
remember going into a tattoo shop. It was late in college, and I had an idea for a tattoo, and I was explaining it to him, and he said, on paper it works out really well, but the way that your arm moves and the muscle structure, it won't work that way, so we'd have to do something like this. And that right there just gave me I said, man, I didn't even consider that. The muscle structure, the way your body moves when you sit it normally, if it's going to line up, is
That's
it
why
going
I
to look...
haven't filled in certain spots. I'm like, which way does it need to be facing?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I didn't even
takes
consider
some
that.
time.
I'm like, yeah, you can take it from paper to a tattoo artist, but that doesn't mean shit. They may look at it and go, we can't do that where you want it. We could do it like this. And again, leave it up to them and see what they come up with. This is what they do. Why are you going to bring it to somebody then tell them what to do? Like, hey, Billy, I need you to write me a song. Okay, cool. Would you like me to write you about? Oh, write it about, this trip that I had. Okay, cool. No problem. Give me a couple photos. Give me a couple things you got, and I'll write it. And then you just sitting with me the entire time and telling me what to write. And why are you even coming to me anyway? Like, that's weird. Just do it. You got it. But to bring it to a tattoo artist with somebody whose style you love, then they can just work with you, because then they get to know you. They get to know your style, see what you're going with, and they know that you're probably going to be back. So let's leave some creative space to be able to pull in the next idea that KALUOHS has when she brings it to your artist, And I think that's one thing you find so much of, again, in Orlando. There's so much creativity. There's the things that everybody knows about, the things that are promoted, these things you see advertised, and then there's those, you can't walk 20 feet downtown without running into somebody extremely creative that is doing something totally unique, like show for show, place for space, store for store, theater for theater, and it's changing all the time.
Well, that goes back to the overlap.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the fact that when you dabble in a bunch of different things, and
Yeah.
when I had those interests that overlapped, there were people that I met when I was painting that also were into the circus people who did the modeling, who did, it's like the people are the same, and they kind of migrate.
You were
to the same
involved with
interests and
Cosplay Runway a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, big project.
There's been a couple things.
Yeah,
Like
there's-
a lot of different things that you've kind of been involved with, just like you said, kind of like spreading those tentacles out and just networking and meeting people.
And I think it's when those opportunities, like we were talking about, like that little bit of luck that happens, it doesn't obligate you to be in things forever, right? Right. So sometimes things are quick opportunities, and that was good, and then I had to go do another opportunity, so I couldn't continue on with that one. But what it taught me in that time and the opportunities, I mean, that's what got me. I literally walked in New York Fashion Week, and it's a fun thing to be able to say. Just
Hell
like
yeah.
I had my art shown in Art Basel. Those are true statements.
Check,
like,
check.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
These are big achievements.
That little bucket list is really filling out, and it's nice to see that, because I can.
And now
I
they're
can-
coming to you.
Yeah, and that's when the gravity kind of shifted.
Yeah.
And I called Billy up and I said, "We doing this?"
Yo. Yeah, that was
Let's have a conversation.
yeah, no, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like, and to go back, it's about when you're representing, this is where I had the hat made, this is where I had this made, this is where I had this tailor made, this is where I had this, and then getting in touch with those people and being like, hey, it's that type of networking that's so easy to do, and people just sometimes don't do it at all. Like, I see that as just opportunity to just network with everybody, bring everybody together.
The more views on the video. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care if you share it. Like, if I
Yeah.
told you, hey, your pants are in the video, and they did or
Yeah.
didn't, it's like, it's still cool. It's still watched. It's
Yeah.
still, they might show it to someone else
Yeah.
and want to show
Hey,
it too.
cool. Look
Like,
at this. Yeah,
yeah, it still
Kulos
buzzes
wore
it
my
around.
threads on this cool ass video she did. Like, how cool is that? And I think that's a big part of kind of what we try to do. And I think what you try to do with Faces of KALUOHS, just bringing people together and talking and building the community. You've been involved in multiple groups, collections, cosplay groups, bringing people together. The art house was, again,
That was
another
the-
way to
the
just
purpose of
create
it,
space
yeah.
to bring people together, And a lot of the times here, like, one of my favorite things, 2 Friday nights ago was fantastic for the season opener, and there was just so much love in the house, and like there was so much creativity, and everybody had a genuinely, I felt like just a genuinely good time. And I love when people meet people and they're talking, hey man, I've seen you here before. What do you do? What do you do? Oh, let's work together. Hey, what do you do? Let me
That's how
get
we
your
got
number.
lights in our kitchen.
Yeah, hey, right? That's Dame Brevoort and Chef Michael, both chefs. They were talking during the show, and Chef Michael O'Brien was talking about how when he has his French Onion Fridays and when he has his Saturdays, sometimes he's looking for somebody who has a little advancement in the restaurant, understands it, and can come in and kind of help with an evening. Reached out to Dane. Dane's like, yeah, man, we have students in the culinary department. We need them to have that real-time experience. We need that. Like, let's link up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's awesome.
They're like, what do you call them? Like work hours, like when
Yeah.
you get it under your belt.
Yeah,
Your apprentices.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, cool, man.
On
and-
the job training. There we go.
and 100%, and yeah, absolutely. And then Michael's been in the restaurant industry for a long time, so he's
What a
very good
guy.
at directing people and shaping
Oh, yeah.
people, and he's very outspoken.
Very direct is a good way to put it.
Very direct. Yeah. If you guys know Chef Michael O'Brien from Corner Cafe, direct is absolutely a correct word to describe him. Like,
Thank you, chef.
it's one of those things where, if he likes you, he's going to tell you a million times that he loves you. I love you. He's going to give you hugs. He's going to give you high fives. He's going to give you everything. If he don't like you, you're going to know that too. He's not the guy that's not going to say something. He's going to let you
Finally
know.
got an invite.
Yeah.
The dinners.
It was, I got to tell you, this past Saturday the menu was beautiful. They did a great job.
I was
great job.
She-Hulk,
The next one
in
they're
case you were
doing, I saw, we talked about that. The next one the next one he's doing is New Year's Eve.
Oh,
The
nice.
menu was beautiful. It was awesome. I took pictures, and I'm just looking at the pictures. I'm going, man, it was great. And everybody that came out, we had a good time. The weather was good. And I mixed 3 different worlds. It was Keith Pavlik, who I've known from college, and his lovely lady, who I just met that Friday night. He was here. And it was Chris and Tally, who I met through Kitchen Killers.
Classic.
And then it was Jen and Matt, who I met Jen through where I used to work. So work life and like Kitchen
bread.
Killers life and old 2 decades ago, college life, 25 years ago. God.
When you say it out loud, it gets sad.
I put the 3 parties together, and you never know how they're going to go.
It's like a wedding.
They did a really good job. They did a really good job. There were most certainly some things that they would talk about that I found if they continue down this road, there might be a touch of contention. But everybody was great, man. It was super cool. I was just sitting around them because they're all couples, and I'm just sitting around them like, this is very interesting to
What are you,
watch.
7th wheel?
Everybody was great. I just kept eating. But they did a great job, but the menu was fantastic. It was
I don't
really,
think you
really
can go
good.
wrong. Jordan still has dreams about that food that he had at your 6-year anniversary.
Oh, man. Oh,
Whatever that food was,
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
out of the chalice of rice. that
Yeah,
he
yeah, the
had.
Chef Michael
Just
made.
Whatever that was.
He does it with such passion. He's such a
It was some type of
passionate
Harry
chef,
Potter
Yeah.
Contraption
Yeah.
that opens up and then just rice.
Yeah, he's such a passionate chef, and like he doesn't do it so people like him.
No.
He does it because he loves to make food,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he loves to entertain.
That's where food is art.
He
honestly.
loves to make
I will
food.
struggle through being able to cook a recipe
Yeah.
to sustain myself. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in it for that. Like
Sure.
I'll commit. But
Yeah, he just loves it, and
League of his own.
he was here on Friday, and when he was here with Dane and Anthony, because the kitchen's the kitchen. It's not a small kitchen, but it's not a huge kitchen. But also,
and he's such a chef. He's like a backseat
yeah,
chef.
Dane
He's
and
just-
Anthony working together, and they're just moving around. It's like a dance to watch them. And Michael is 6'3". He's a big boy. Michael O'Brien's a big guy. So he was in the kitchen as well, and he runs his own restaurant. He knows what to do, but he also, not only does he know how to be a great leader, he also knows how to be a great teammate. He's fantastic at being a good teammate. He can support a chef.
There was one point where they were stacked. There were 4 of them.
Yeah.
It was got too low, and then Michael comes in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Jordan decided that was when he needed a paper towel. So he sees it, he lasers in, everyone come in, and then
Yeah.
it was just a bunch of arms. I just saw a bunch of arms, and then all of a sudden a white towel comes up, Jordan comes out, everyone's clear. It was a beautiful
Good to
moment,
go.
but they were stacked 4 high. They were in there.
Yeah, man, Chef Michael was awesome, and he's one of those energies where I told Michael one night, he goes, "What do you need me to do tonight?" I said, "You don't need to do anything, brother. Just come on by and hang out." That doesn't work for Michael. He wants to do
I'm kind
something.
of that person though. Jordan calls
Yeah.
me out. We were at a wedding.
Yeah.
And I was like,
What can I do?
like, someone needs a water.
What can I do to help?
Someone needs a water.
Yeah,
I
do you
need
need me to
like,
refill
do you
that?
need to- do you want me to tell the person that? He's like, do you feel you always have to be working? We're at a
Yes.
wedding.
Yes.
I was a guest. I wasn't even
Yes.
in the wedding.
I
I wasn't
do
even
feel like I
working
need to do
for
everything.
the wedding. I was like a guest.
Yeah.
I was like,
I went to a baby shower about a month ago, 2 months ago, and when I got there, I knew the people that were putting on the baby shower, and they were family. They were my friends and their family. So as soon as I got there, my chair was there, and there were people sitting at all the tables and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, oh, let me see if there's anything I could do. So I walked up to my friend. I said, "Hey, man, is there anything going on?" He's like, "Would you mind checking with so-and-so and so-and-so? I think they were working on this." I went, "I'm on it." Went over there, got that squared away, walked back over. I was like, "What's next, man?" He's like, "Hey, man, if you don't mind this." And I just felt so like I was contributing.
that's
'Cause-
also a baby shower thing.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing recently.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it wasn't even it was Jordan's friends
Yeah,
who were
yeah.
having the
Nice.
baby. And they were putting the food out. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
the pregnant woman was
Yeah.
putting the food out. I'm like, there's something like really sacrilegious about this. I took the stuff away from her. I'm like,
You're
I
like,
don't know
"No,
why.
no."
I just need to say no to this. Like,
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
I'm just tell me
Go
what
ahead and
it
just
is
give
and
it to
I'll
me.
put- yeah,
I'll
like,
take
I
care of it.
worked in
100%.
restaurants.
Yeah, we're good to go. 100%. Yeah, that's that's one of those things. And Michael's very similar. He wants to help.
Yep.
So he was here, and when I looked over, I even looked back at some of the video because I was taking some clips, and we were going over the footage that Michelle had gotten from that Friday night. And there was a part where Michael was setting down the black plateware on the outside of this for all the servings, and Anthony and Dane were coming in piece by piece by piece. As Michael's putting down the plate, it was like plate, piece, dressing, plate, piece,
Oh, that's
dressing.
catering flow.
It
That's
was
what you
so
got.
cool
I love
to see
being
that
a
go
robot.
down. It was so
'Cause
cool to
it's
see
like-
that go down,
the
you know.
conveyor belts.
Yeah.
Like,
Boom,
that's
boom, boom,
satisfying to
boom.
watch thing, and then when you're a part of it,
Yeah.
I play
It's
those
because
games that are like
because
work.
the human variable is what could destroy the whole thing, and it's the smoothness of all the human variables working together to make that beautiful thing happen, where I feel like it's individual success leading to a grand success. When I saw that happening, and again, Mike's a
Synergy.
big guy.
Synergy.
Mike's not a little dude, and he was like a great graceful ballerina, just making his way
That's
around
what
the
I was
kitchen.
telling you. You just
It was
see
beautiful.
arms. You just-
It was good. We had a good night, and it was cool to see so many different people here. And we had Adam and my friend Miranda and Ray, and they came from Cocoa Beach. We had some really great couples here, good family members here. Keith brought Alana out for the first time, and that was really cool because that's them getting out and kind of engaging in the neighborhood and engaging in the community and meeting people, because we have a very eclectic collection of people on a Kitchen Killers Friday night.
yeah.
You can come here and find artwork. You're going to get a tattoo. You're going to get some lights installed in your kitchen.
Yep.
You're going to get some pipe work done. You're going to learn how to make some rice, and it's all going to happen. It's just a big hodgepodge of incredible people, that kind of gather together. And I like that because then everybody kind of comes together just for music and food and community. And it's like, cool, man. And then after the show is over, go back to whatever you were doing, no problem. But for that hour, for that 2 hours, just embrace the music and the food and each other and friendships. Leave everything at the door. Don't worry, it'll be there when you leave. But when you come here, just good energy. And the last show we had here was fantastic energy. Everybody seemed to have a great time, and the food looked fantastic.
It kind of
It
reminds
disappeared.
me. It kind of reminds me of the concept of barn raising, right? Where everybody gets together and they have that one goal and they're all pushing for it.
Oh, yeah.
When you leave it at the door, you can't really be focused on anything else while you are like raising the barn.
Yeah.
You gotta be-
If you're
all-
focused on something else, you got some problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy, come on.
Yeah.
I give him the-
Fritz.
he was way closer than I expected him
Yeah,
to
he's
be.
right there. He's looking good. I mean, tomorrow is Halloween.
Always feels like
We're Halloween Eve.
somebody's
Watching me. We are pre-Halloween right now. It's Halloween Eve.
I know. That's why
I see
it
your
looked like-
your earrings. Does that say trick over there?
It does.
Nice, trick and treat.
Yeah, I can't only wear trick. It confuses people
Yeah,
when I'm taking.
you got a little bit of the Wednesday Adams look going
Yeah,
on
when
here.
I do the braids right now, it's a little bit more Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Sure.
But when I braided, it is quite Wednesday Addams.
It is a bit Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You're
I know.
right.
You can't see the full robe
Yeah.
skirt, but when I wear
Yeah.
it, Jordan thinks it's a dress. It is, if I could display, it is a big,
I love it. It's fantastic.
it's very moody. When I wear the hat, it's a look. What did I say? I looked like a pilgrim.
Yeah, a little bit. Churning butter.
Pilgrimy.
A little Amish.
Little house on the prairie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this would be.
But our RBG at 32, 29,
Yeah.
29, 32, 33.
Okay.
I have no
You're
idea.
reminding me of a TSA checkpoint story, so I might as well share this.
We love TSA checkpoint
I
stories.
just got
They
TSA
love
pre-check.
pulling my mom aside, who's a 4'11" Italian woman who completely looks totally fine. Every time we go anywhere, she's the favorite one that gets pulled to the side and gets the full pat down. They ask her, "Do you want to go in another room?" She's done it so many times. I was like, "I don't care. Let's just get this over with." They got her on the way to and back. Same thing. They got her on the way there. They're like, "Ma'am, you need to
Does
step
she
over
look
here."
too sweet that they're
I
just
go,
like she has to be a mule?
Yeah, I go,
Like,
"Mom,
she's-
what is going on? Like, you look, what's happening? Like, what's going on?" She goes, "How's that random? They got me 2 times in a row." I was like, "You got to love TSA." Back to TSA.
That just reminds me, side note of that, but coming back from London, I was wearing a puffy vest in an airport. Really like day one on that one. But
You mean like Back to the Future?
yeah, it was
Gotcha.
two-tone, hot pink and white, like
Puffy vest.
ski
I got it.
bunny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this recent one,
Snow
I was
bunny.
so excited. I just got TSA pre-check, and when I say I already had clear, so I was like in this upper echelon
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like leveled up. Like
you
then if
don't
I don't
understand.
have clear, I still have TSA pre-check. Like I
Yeah,
thought I was
TSA
elite.
pre-check is BA.
The next bucket list is just the Delta Sky Club, and someday I will.
Yeah.
But so here I was
Listen,
at PSA
because of your
pre-check.
video, Delta, she should already
Delta hook
be.
me up.
She
They
should
don't let me
already
in the
be
Sky
in the
Club.
Sky Club.
I should go into the Sky Club with the video.
Yes.
and
Yo,
be like,
this is me. There's the Delta
I am
logo.
your representative.
This came with the agreement.
So, but what happened was, imagine my joy.
Lifetime.
Imagine my joy of the first time I get to go through TSA pre-check. And it was, the first time was glorious, breezed right
Yeah.
through, shoes
You're
stayed
like,
on.
"This is
But they were kind of like the rubbery, if you follow my Instagram, I did a little post, these cute little rain boots that I have. They look
Gotcha.
like sneakers, they're like Converse, but they're rain boots, so they're thick and weird.
Interesting.
So I like wearing them to the airport because then they don't take up room in my luggage.
That
and
makes
I was
sense.
going to New York and it had flooded. That was the context. Now you understand
Yeah.
the shoes. So
Logical.
first time going through, like a breeze. That's why I got TSA pre-check.
Delta, where are you at?
It was a breeze. It was great. Coming back, however,
Uh-oh.
I was caught like your mother.
Really?
All of a sudden, there's a hang up. They're like, "Ma'am, we're gonna need you to take your shoes off."
And you're like,
And
wait
I
a
was
minute.
like, wait a second.
That's what-
I just
that's
got
what-
the TSA.
That's for the
That's-
peasants.
Yes. I was like, I
Well, I
paid
don't
for
take
this.
my
I went-
shoes off.
So I and they're like rubber boots. So now I have to like, they're like, there's a vacuum
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to go throw them in the thing. And now I am displaying the socks that my mother gave me proudly that are Ruth Bader Ginsburg's face that says, "I resist."
And you were not,
Or I
you were
dissent.
totally unknowledgeable this was going to happen.
And so here I am in TSA pre-check with these "I dissent" socks.
There's a
with her
reason for
face-
everything.
Her face looking up,
RBG.
staring down the TSA lady.
She
And the
lives.
TSA lady wands me over and she goes, "I like your socks."
I resist.
Or was it? I have to. I have to read them again. I don't read them often, but
Yeah.
I think it's "I dissent."
How often do we read our socks, really?
But it was charming. She liked your face. It was.
Well, you carry the RBG, the tattooed RBG.
I feel like it's the edgy.
I feel like if somebody asked AI, make an edgy RBG tattoo sleeved AI RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I imagine it would actually. I'm very interested in asking AI to do that. Stand by.
We're saving this prompt for later.
I'm very interested in this. Like, I don't know if anybody uses ChatGPT, so I use ChatGPT and ChatGPT 4.0. Which is the latest version of AI, because there's different levels of AI for different specific things. You know, things that are making decisions on a left or a right are different AIs than communicative when it comes to mathematics, when it comes to translation, when it comes to
Formulaic.
creativity. There's different levels of AI. Right now, ChatGPT 4.0 is out, and it has a way where you can even speak to it, and it will speak back to you. It will talk to you. It will have full conversations with you and learn more about you as a person, the kind of music you
We're
listen
getting
to.
into that Megan show.
It becomes your
It becomes
your friend.
It's gonna and then it's gonna turn on you and
You know,
nothing is
so
forever.
you can ask, show me Ruth, BATER,
Let's just confirm to me.
GUIN,
going.
Gins, BURG. I'm guessing here. As a, let's say, 29
Spell check confirmation.
year old. There we go. Okay. Gotcha. Give me the Ginsburg again.
Oh, Like
It keeps auto correcting everything. Let's see.
Is it saying ginseng?
It's a.
Ruth Bader ginseng. It's gonna be some weird herb instead of my face.
I was very close. I was only one letter off. Not bad.
Were you able to read it with the movement?
No,
Okay.
but I think we're okay.
Ginsburg.
Yeah, got
Okay,
it.
we're here.
Gins.
Yeah.
You got it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Show me Ruth Bader Ginsburg
In
as
there.
a 29-year-old,
33.
as a 33-year-old,
47.
47-year-old.
Not ashamed of my wisdom.
Tattooed.
I said I wasn't going to hit the table.
Tattooed woman. Show me Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a 33-year-old tattooed,
Yeah, we'll just see. Boom.
arm tattooed,
I just say
sleeved,
tattooed. Let's see what they come up
tattooed woman.
with. Leave it up to the AI.
Show me Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a 33-year-old tattooed. Oh, okay.
Is it getting weird?
It has, so sometimes it'll kick you out if you ask it to do things and it's not supposed to. So like public figures, it can do some things, but some things are like, we can't do that.
We're not searching for that.
We are
Just-
not searching
It is
for
only
that.
8 o'clock.
FYI. We're going to see what ChatGPT.
We're going to put a pin in that.
We're going to see what
We're gonna-
ChatGPT
That
has
might be
to
a
say.
Patreon show.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. So my mama says, I got the full body pat down when we went and when we got back. Yeah, on the way back, they said, do you want to go to a private room? And she goes, no, let's just do it right here. And that was it. And they just did it. Mom was, let's just get this over with. I have no idea. But she got chosen randomly twice in a row. I was
Targeting.
like, Mom, what are you doing? What's going on
Foul.
here? I was
Flag on
like,
the
is there
play.
something you're not telling? I know we're Italian, but is there something you're not telling us about our family lineage? Like, do you look like my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother?
list
Looks
somewhere?
exactly the same. She's
If
like,
this
"It
lady comes in, she means
reincarnated. She means business.
business. Nothing good when Lynn comes around. It goes down.
It goes down. Everybody knows she's a troublemaker.
Hide your wands.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, pulled aside, patted down. TSA. Ruth Bader Ginsburg socks. What'd you say? I resist, not I resist.
I think instead of I resist, I think they said I dissent.
I
just
dissent.
whatever her
I
big
dissent.
quote was, I should know it. But
Yeah, that's the way it is, man.
And so here was dissenting to
Yeah.
their search by allowing their search.
Yeah.
But it was very ironic. And so she was like, I like your socks. 'Cause
Nice.
it had to be a woman.
Do you
So the
fly,
guy
do you
who's
fly often?
I didn't.
Okay.
Let's say I did.
Yeah.
And then a pandemic.
Yeah.
And now I just
Not
don't know
so
that I
much.
have the energy for it as I used to.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Well, the good thing is you're still on all the planes. You do more flying now than you've ever done.
Yeah, if I join the Mile High Club, there it goes.
That's awesome. You're being
Yeah.
introduced. I'm interested to see when it hits circulation in about 6 months, 3 months, as it starts to come back around. You know, you start to see like that return where somebody's going to see it.
But it's really niche. You
Yeah.
know, to go on the Delta flight, you have to go onto the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then on the Wi-Fi screen, once you've
Yeah.
confirmed, which for most people, the whole point was just, I got onto the Wi-Fi, accept
Yeah.
your terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Now let me go do
Let
what
me
I
go
was
on
doing on the
Facebook.
internet. But the point is, if you stay there
Yeah.
where
I
it
watch
connects you
those
to the
things.
internet,
I
it
do
says,
that.
here's some things to check out.
Yeah.
And so if you know
I
that
like
it's
that
called
stuff.
Skylines Decoded, we'll
Yeah.
put what it's called.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I like that
absolutely.
stuff. I watch that stuff all the time.
And
There
it's a
was-
whole series. You could go. I want you to go watch the other cities. There's 12 of them.
I flew on Virgin. Yeah, Skylines
Skylines
Decoded,
Decoded, that's what it
Orlando.
is.
I'm gonna grab this link right here. I flew on Virgin Airlines one time, and I just kept going through the menu, and I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, I can order food, I can order drinks,
Mm-hmm.
I can order snacks, I can order a charcuterie board. I'm like, I can just call the guy to come over if I want to have a conversation about metaphysics. Who knows? Well, let me hit the button.
I watched Bill Nye do a whole masterclass, and I learned different ways to tie your shoes, and I learned a lot
Really?
of other stuff from Bill Nye on an airplane. I think it was Delta. So
That's interesting.
It was.
Let's see. We're gonna do. There's the link right there. We're putting it up right in the Facebook chat. Give me a second. Link to Skylines lines.
I think Skylines
Decoded.
Decoded. Yeah, I think that'll.
You got it. Fantastic. Boom.
Don't quote me.
We're about to find out. Listen, if it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Beautiful. So we just popped it up in the chat for you guys. You guys can check this out. KALUOHS is a mover and shaker, man. We make it happen. We've actually been in conversation about you doing a little correspondence. Maybe some access to Canva, some uploads of some videos to see, because you were a gallivanter around the city of Orlando, involved in so many different things, including culinary
Oh, yeah.
and music and performance art and all that good stuff. You know, so we were kind of talking about it, working out the new schedule, and there was a Monday a month that we were like, cool, this is actually perfect, and it worked out the time. In my mind, I'm going, all right, let's build out the content for Monday, for that Monday, and then KALUOHS messages me and goes, hey, question for you. Do you ever want to maybe get together and chat? And I went, that sounds like a fantastic idea. So we got together, we talked, we were like, cool, we have this open. We're like, okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and put that up there and see what happens, which I think is super cool. We've crashed your kitchen before. You've been here many times. You understand the concept. We're involved in the very similar circles, although completely different circles simultaneously, which kind of brings it all together,
And also
which
music,
is great.
which is
Yeah.
the weirdest final connection of all of this, is that when I left the community, which I always seem to be working for
Yeah.
groups of people or communities of people, or doing things, whether it's the art community or the Orlando community with Curry Ford West, and
For sure.
in those nonprofit roles. When I left that, I went to go work with my family. And what does my family do? They do a franchise of music schools.
Yeah.
And so even the music layer and the importance and the value that music provides and how music can be its own community, the layers are all on top. So the
Yeah,
point
and-
is, we'll never run out of things to talk about.
And that's one of the things that I did want to touch on is like your whole family. Like you've had this this organization, this charity drive, and this benefit show going on for how many years
13
now?
years. This was our 13th year. It just happened at the beginning of October.
Man, that's awesome. And now you're involved in that family aspect, that family business, to continue that. Can you the charity moving to can you do just that event? Because
Yeah,
it's a big event.
It is a big event. It's an annual music festival that's about 6 hours. We just cut it down from 8 hours, so we made it 6. And so there's 2 different avenues. The music festival is an annual celebration for breast cancer survivors and really survivors of any type of cancer. So that we put that on, used to be in September, now it's in October, to raise money for the full Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
That's its own.
So you just had that a couple weeks ago.
We did. It was really recent. The other entity is Bach to Rock, which Bach to Rock is a really cool company because it's a franchise. So instead of my family starting their own business and being really entrepreneurial from grassroots about it, they were really intelligent because they took that money and invested it into one franchise, quickly saw how the demand and the success of that was growing, replicated it,
Yeah.
opened 3.
Yeah.
So now there's 3 schools that they get to share. And it was when I saw that scaling and that success and that demand and love for them in the community.
Yeah.
That's when I said, I have an opportunity to shift gears and help them in this scaling process.
Right.
And when I stepped in, because what I'm doing is I'm the director of human resources for them. So I help them with hiring needs, with personnel development, with anything people related for their business.
For sure.
But I can be remote with it. And so in that way, when you have 1 or 2 locations, you can be a little, I don't want to say sloppy.
Sure.
But there's grace
Yeah.
in hiring for 1 or 2 schools. But when you have 3 schools
Yeah.
and you want process and you want
you
everyone to be on
need
the
process.
same page,
You
but
need
it's
convention.
not. But it's not executive.
Yeah.
It's not or enterprise level.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not that
Not yet.
scale that you need all of these massive tools and whole programs and.
Yeah.
Human resources isn't a department. It can still be a person at this
Yeah.
scale, but you still
But you
need
definitely
a role.
need a person.
And that's where I came in and I said, before you open this 3rd school, which is why I had to move quickly
Right.
to leave my last position,
Sure.
is kind of strike while the iron is hot. That
Yeah,
if I come
absolutely.
in before they've made any bad habits, if I come in before this next school
Yeah,
is
you got to
open,
get it
and we
before it starts.
And we did. We already
Yeah.
had a couple things that were hangnails that were like,
Nice.
hey, let's
Done.
address this really quickly before it's a bigger thing that could have been audits down the road.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that even if I don't stay there long term,
Sure.
I
You
could
got
go
them set
help
up for
other-
success.
And
Yeah.
what if there's another person who has 1 McDonald's and they want to make 5 McDonald's?
There
and help
is.
them scale,
There is.
right?
There are
and
those
they need
people.
someone to handhold.
They do.
And that's a skill. And it's
Yeah.
a whole different skill set. And it's not something I ever sought out
Help
to do.
you franchise.
But I never set
If
out
you're-
to do anything
if you're
I
looking,
did. I
if
just
you're looking
did
to
stuff.
franchise,
I'm your
KALUOHS
gal.
is here to help you out. Dane put up all things benefit equal all good for all.
Yeah.
I agree. Dane, that's Dane Brevort. He
That's
was just here a
beautiful.
couple Fridays ago. So he was our chef in the kitchen with Anthony Vivona.
That was a chef's kiss. That was for you.
Boom, there it goes. A crash off. What are we doing? What's a crash off? Are we crashing off things? Crash off things?
I
What's-
do like that we low-key
do like a
match.
good
I don't
crash
know
off.
that I was planning to be Kitchen Killers goth today.
You were in
but
it. You were in it.
We are
Yeah,
aesthetic.
I wear a
It's
lot of
mood.
black. I didn't realize that. I never made that decision in my life. I was just like, and then the next thing I know, you open my closet, it's just black. My whole life is pretty much like black graphic tees that are given to me. This is Tequila 512. I didn't buy the shirt.
Yeah.
It's just like people are like promoting, and they're like, hey, here's shirts. And we meet a lot of people, a lot of partners.
Sure.
I always take shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, give me the
Classic.
shirt. Absolutely. This is black. Everything's black. But yeah,
I
we
tease
they will.
Jordan,
I got a little white, and you've got the white on the
See, that's
collar
what I
there.
mean? Yeah.
That's
And
perfect.
then I tell Jordan that he's a cartoon character because you open his closet and it's
yeah.
like a cartoon character where it's all the same outfit or
Yeah.
like 3 and then 3 and then
Oh,
like
right.
the same. And then the shoes are all that.
Yeah,
so
he's got the
a
brain.
little
He's got the
cartoon
brain
kid.
pan for that. I love that.
he's
I'm
good.
very similar. I get that 100%. I love Jordan. Jordan's super sweet, man. I'm glad he's really since I know you guys have been together for how long? 4 years?
It will be 4 in December.
Wow.
December
So
28th.
closing in.
Yeah.
Closing in.
My lucky.
Yeah, from me meeting Jordan 3 years, 11 months later, 3 years, 10
Ish.
months later, ish. It's been very, very interesting to watch you guys grow together. It's been awesome. You know, it's been
He
really.
was the house elf.
He was. That's when I first
Iconic,
met him.
yeah.
When I first met him, he was literally introduced me as the house elf.
We didn't know what to call each other.
Yeah.
Like we were coworkers. We were like,
What do I do? We don't know what to do. Yeah.
don't put him on camera. I don't know
Nope.
what to say.
The house elf doesn't go on camera. Crash multiple kitchens and have a crash
Oh,
off for
that would be
food.
cool.
Crash multiple kitchens simultaneously. Like if we have 2 kitchens, I go and play a song over here and chat with that chef about what they're doing. Then head over to this hot burner where they're working
What
on.
if there's 3 different kitchens being crashed at the same time?
We could do that.
Like that.
That'd be fantastic.
And then you pop in with StreamYard with different live streams. We're
See,
like, and now we're coming in from.
That was a question that
Less
we
logistics.
we
Don't
had brought up
include moving.
about crashing kitchens, but having people represent the kitchen killer's name as
yeah.
as Landon Nolan, or if I have my friend Brian Becky in California, Matt
yeah.
McIver in Ireland. Hey Matt, would you be down to crash a kitchen as long as it's,
It's like instead of a
905
pitch hitter,
EST?
it's a pitch crasher.
Exactly. So I would still host. You know,
Yeah.
we would host, and Matt would be in Ireland, so he would be dealing the food.
Ooh,
we
what
would
about
be
instead of candid camera, it's
Yeah.
candid crasher.
like we don't. They don't. You don't know we're in your
You
kitchen.
don't know we're being crashed.
You have no idea. We just kick the door
The
open.
chef turns around. We're live.
We're live. Welcome. We're like Publishers Clearinghouse, but we bring music and food. We've thought about that before. People go, do you just go into people's kitchens? And as soon as I think that that's what they're saying, I agree with it 100%. I go, absolutely. We literally just go and knock on doors and try door handles. And the first one that opens, guess what?
You get food.
entertainment. You get entertainment and food. We have a full
Sign
army.
these waivers. We're coming in.
I remember a friend of mine wasn't able to spend Christmas with their family. They had to work. So we surprised them on Christmas morning with probably 15 of all of our family members. So they opened the door and they had no idea. And we came in as an army. We had tables, chairs, tablecloths, food in the oven, in the stove, in the microwave, into the refrigerator. Drinks were open, tablecloths were put down, chairs were set up, music was put on, and bam, we had Christmas morning.
That is precious.
It was
I
awesome.
feel like that's such a big gamble.
It was military, man.
I
It
immediately
was
think
so
that
awesome.
something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna walk in, they're doing something weird. They have like a goat yoga ritual they do every morning.
This is what I do on Christmas morning when I'm alone. They just walk in. We all walk
Caught
in.
them in their fuzzy
something
bathrobe.
crazy is
Thing.
going on. We're like,
Never mind, guys. Go back. Go back. Go back.
We had it set up. We knew what was going on. We had an infiltrator. We had somebody going over there to spend Christmas morning. They were just bringing them a pie.
Okay.
That's
See,
what they
at
were
least
doing.
they knew they were expecting company.
They were expecting
That's
2
okay.
people.
You
They got
can't
15.
ambush company from
No,
like
no.
0 to company.
Yeah, they got 2 people. The whole thing was scheduled. It was actually we were kind of bouncing it off because I couldn't be there for Christmas, so I was out of town with my family.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to leave town, so I worked with her family, her dad actually, and we were like, okay, let's get everybody in on this. We had her sister, her sister's boyfriend, our Orlando friends, our family friends, our Florida friends. So here I am at Christmas Eve, actually in my parents' hometown on the phone, knowing I'm going to see them tomorrow morning and telling them how much I'm going to miss them over the next couple of days, but we'll have our Christmas together soon. And I'm literally walking around buying stuff for the food the next day and like trying to hold this. I'm like, man, to what degree am I lying and gaslighting the crap out of you right now? But it's for love.
Yeah.
I just want to surprise you, you know?
yeah.
And it was great. They cried the whole time.
Yeah.
As soon as they opened the door, they were just bawling. Oh my, thank you so much. It was awesome, man. It was so cool. But man, we were military style. So that's how Kitchen Killers does it. We try the doorknob.
Terrifying.
Boom. If it opens up, here comes the army, baby. We bring the food. Doesn't matter what you guys are doing. Put your clothes back on. We're having chicken. We're going to make it
Barbara.
Barbara, put your clothes back on. We're having chicken. Barbara. I love it.
Barbara's reckless. I don't know if you don't know a Barb in your life, she's reckless.
She is. I know a
Prove me
couple
wrong.
Barbaras. I will say this: because I know some Barbaras and some Barbies.
And
You know,
Barb?
younger
just go by-
younger
oh,
Barbaras,
Stranger
in my
Things.
opinion, younger Barbaras are well behaved. They understand what's going on. They're well mannered.
Well, they
They're
go by
totally
Barbara
cool.
still.
But the older they get, the more they start to realize how powerful and truly unstoppable they really are, and then they just do whatever they want to do. I imagine so. I know one adult Barbara. Nobody messes with her.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Now,
they're strong women like Sarah's.
yeah, I was just about to say that.
Actually, striking number of Sarah's
She
are
don't want
astronauts.
Cal Nunez says Barbara's vegan. She don't want your chicken.
Sorry.
My
being
Aunt
sweet.
Barb is one of my favorites. Oh, that's cool. Dude, who has a fantastic
I just mean
Aunt
reckless
Barbara?
can be a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean like unhinged in like a fabulous way, like completely their own person kind of a thing.
Dane says, Landon, you and me. Okay, so me and
Those are the
Landon playing
three.
some music, and then you crash in the kitchen.
Landon's one, you're
Or
one.
Landon's in his kitchen, crash in a kitchen. I'm in a kitchen, crash in a kitchen, and we're going back and forth, multiple streams simultaneously crash in 2 kitchens and have a kitchen kill off. That sounded wrong. Have a kitchen killer's cook off.
Crash off.
I like that, a crash off. Is that what you're talking about? Landon crashes a kitchen with a chef, I crash a kitchen with a chef, and we go back and forth with food and music? I'd be down for that. Landon's badass, man. Landon don't play. I've been really fortunate to be playing bass with Landon lately. He's awesome. We had a show at the Abbey. It was just great. And then we just had practice the other day. What a driven young dude. Talk about Central Florida up-and-coming musicians,
yeah.
man. Landon's awesome. Landon was here on that Friday night. It was a lot of fun. I loved having him sit down. He sat down. Michael O'Brien sat down. Dane sat down. We even had Anthony Vivona, 18 years old Valencia culinary student, sitting down. Absolute crushing. I had a great time. He was on the billboard. He went out with his family and they took a picture under the billboard. People were like, Billy, that's crazy. How'd you Photoshop that? It looks so real. I'm like, what did I Photoshop? They're like, the billboard. And I'm like, no, that was real. They're like, no, seriously, that looked really good. How'd you Photoshop that? I'm like, no, that was real. And they're like,
Cold hard cash.
really? And I go, yeah. And the whole time, I kept trying to analyze if it was worth it. If the value of the people coming into the feed pushed from the banners were worth the investment into the blip. Like, is it? Are we seeing the turnover? Are we seeing the people? Are we seeing the viewers? Are we seeing that analytically? And that's how I was trying to justify the value of it. And then Dane sent me a picture of Anthony standing underneath the sign, and then none of those numbers mattered anymore, and that was 100%. I went, worth every penny, man. Worth every penny. So we have Christine Gopal, who's going to be here November 17th. We're going to do the same thing with her. I got her okay on the banners today, so I just let her know, like, FYI, the banners are going up here, 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 and these 5 billboards. And she was like, 5 billboards? What does that mean? And I'm like,
Your face and lights
around the city of Orlando. And she's like, no, seriously. I'm like, no, seriously. Like, is that cool? She's like, yes. I'm like, all right, cool, because okay, that sounds like a good to go to me. So that's the next time we're going to have a kitchen here. This Friday, we're heading to my friend Glenn Dell's, a fantastic musician. He was at the last 2 anniversary shows. Awesome dude. Fantastic energy. We've done brick fire oven pizzas there, homemade pizzas. We did ribs and a full barbecue spread there. Glenn's been absolutely awesome. That's where we're going to be this Friday. Wednesday show, Patreon show, is going to be a rebroadcast. We're live today. This is live, 10/30/2023, Halloween Eve. And it is 8:17 at night. Hello, everybody. We're here with KALUOHS, chatting a little bit about the community, seeing how the chemistry is between the 2 of us on TV. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I think we're
And
rocking and rolling.
we matched the.
Coordinated.
We coordinated. We got Fritz hanging out, Tip in the hat, hanging out with the guitar. You know, that was a Sarah's friend, the tall, pretty artist that was at your birthday part, was going to put her art on kimonos. Do you know the status? Alexia. We can
I
reach
do
it.
not know the
We can
status.
we can find out, Mama Floyd. Do you have Instagram, Mama Floyd? She may not need Instagram. She already gets in enough trouble on Facebook. She's a woman who speaks her mind. You know, which on Facebook, a lot of people they don't deal with that too well. I want to live in my bubble of ignorance, please. My mom's like, pierce the veil, pierce the veil, pierce the veil. I'm like, Mom, I love you, but also just be mindful.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It's a place for all types.
I support you 100%, and I will back you 100%. But also, you know, if you have Instagram, that's where Alexia lives. You can find her on Instagram. We can shoot her a message. I'm sure we can reach out and find out what's going on and see what the motivation is, where
can
that is
text her.
happening. Because who doesn't love artwork, a handcrafted kimono with
it would be stunning.
a
And her
local
art
artist
is so
artwork?
Beautiful.
Awesome.
She is such a talented person, and she has really exploded. And if you
And
want to talk
the
about an
size
artist
canvases,
on the scene,
man. Yeah, the size
she's-
canvases she makes are
But
fantastic.
she just did her own. She's done numerous shows.
Yeah.
and
She had her
we've
own
gone
art
to
show not
shows
too long
together.
ago.
I went to a show with her, and everyone was Alexia,
Yeah.
like they knew her, and it was so she's really
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she had an event just before she came here for that for the birthday party. She said, not only did I not know why I was here, but I didn't even know what we were doing. She goes,
We kind of kidnapped her.
yeah.
I told them we were going
She
to
said,
an
I
art show,
walked
and then I was
in-
like, oh, now we're going to a picnic.
Yeah. She's like, I walked in. She was like, I tried some of the pork, and I asked, who put their foot in this mouth? Who put their foot in its mouth? And I went, what does that mean? Oh, put their foot in it. Who put their foot in this? And I went, what does that mean? She goes, to put your foot in something? And I go, yeah, what does that mean? She said, that meant they did a great job. they really cooked it perfectly. It's delicious.
Dang.
Who put their foot in it? And I went, who put their foot in it? I'm like, I'm going to have to remember that.
Wouldn't have been my first go-to for that
Yeah,
phrase.
who put
yeah.
who? Man, somebody put their foot in this,
Tastes
or
like
who put their
toast.
foot in it? And I'm going, I'm confused. Somebody drop a shoe or something? Did it fall on the ground? Like, are we crushing wine? Are we crushing grapes right now? What's that? What does that mean? Then she
I
told
thought
me,
she
and I
got
went,
a little toe lint.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to use that because that pork was fantastic. They did a great job. The food was great. That's where I met Alexia. She didn't even know why she was here. She had no idea. We went up chatting a couple of days later. She goes, I didn't know where I was, who owned the house, or where I was here. She goes,
But at least with me, it's a safe environment that you're going to.
It was. And the
Imagine
cool
that
thing
same
is,
story with
she was fine with it.
It was great. Well,
'Cause she trusts
I
you.
wanted to be a connector.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And
Yeah.
that's, and you know,
And Shane's awesome.
There have been some times that there have been some moments, and like
Yeah.
you're talking about worlds collided, where like some things got real close, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how's this gonna go?
How's this
And then
gonna
it goes,
go? Yeah.
It's just this kind of like releasing of it.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're all cool here.
Yeah, and I was about to
We're-
say, I think we've all made it to that echelon in our life where ego is kind of left at the door to a degree, and it's just creators being around other creative people, and it's like, cool, man, there's no struggle for attention, there's no struggle for the lead, there's no struggle for the microphone. Like, we all encourage each other to speak, we encourage each other to share what you're doing, we want to know about it, we want to hear about it, we want to share it with you guys. Speaking of sharing with you guys stuff that we're proud about, we opened up with the Delta video, the Atlas Obscura video with the great and illustrious KALUOHS. So I
because
figured,
it just dropped. It was like hot off the presses. I was like, Billy, can we?
yeah, absolutely,
And I was just
100%.
like, blink,
And we had
grab the
talked,
link.
about it, which was really cool. And you had told me about it. And you're like, this is where it's going to be. I didn't think I'd ever really get to see it because I literally thought it would only
thought it would be
I didn't
only
think
on
it would be
flights.
public
Yeah.
at all. So when you sent me this, I went, is this? It is. This is the Delta video. So we might as well end with that. But thank you guys for joining us tonight, man. I'm having a lot of fun. KALUOHS in the house. And again, great energy. Awesome.
Yeah.
We filled that hour super fast.
I
We
know.
went a little further.
It flew.
It's okay, but I hope you guys
But I
are
gotta
enjoying
head out
that.
to dinner with Jordan.
Yeah, right. I got me and Fritz. We got a night. We're gonna do some gaming. We got to bury a couple
know that
bodies in the
sound.
backyard. The old Fritz, who is Fred. Fred. Oh, poor Fred. We had Fred for 8 years. I had Fred for 8 years.
Wow.
And it was time for Fred to go. And we gave him a fond farewell. We really did. We say la vie. Here's Fritz wearing this fantastic hat, which you're going to have to
him.
give that back, by the
I
way,
will.
Fritz.
Yeah, I
You're
will be
going to
taking
have
it
to
back.
give that back. I know you're going to want to keep it because you do look dashing, sir. But you're going to have to give that back to KALUOHS. But thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
This
It
was a
was-
lot of fun. I hope we get to do it again.
It was great to break that on Friday
Yeah.
and be here and spend this time and see
Yeah.
everybody and see in the chat.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to shoot you a Canva invitation.
I can't
and
wait to see
whatever
what else
whatever
is
we
in
see
store.
pop up, we're going to make it happen. So we were talking about making some videos. And do you have any events coming up that you can talk about? Where can they find your art? Where's the best place for them to find a little bit more about, aside from this Delta video we're about to watch, where can they find a little bit more about you?
I think the best follow is really just Instagram. It's the easiest. It's where everything posts to. If Facebook is more more your speed, you can follow on that as well. I'm in the process of redoing the website, but
Okay.
it's kind of just cleaning house and taking all the art house stuff back off of it, and really giving that the refresh. So I think those are the channels to follow. No big events coming up because you're on the heels of the holiday
Yeah.
season, which everybody
And right at
gets
the end
into,
of that
so.
huge musical event.
that's kind of the end of our
Are you guys
season.
are you still kind of coming down
We
for
are,
that?
Yeah. I mean, there's
That's
been a lot
big.
that's been happening at the same time
Yeah.
of that. So
All that
yeah.
simultaneously. Well, you've always been a very busy woman. Always. And productive, not just busy, but like moving forward, productive, making things happen, And I like how new opportunities are opening up for you, and it takes a lot to get there. And really it's tenacity. Keep going, keep going, keep going. See what
Persist.
happens, see what works, persist, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. If it's a crazy idea to somebody else, it doesn't mean it's not going to work, So if it's something you're passionate about, by all means. What's your Instagram? Instagram.com/
KALUOHS.
spell that for me.
KALUOHS.
UOHS. Yes. Like that?
Yep.
Bam. I love it. Sweet baby Ray. Well, there's a link right there. Make sure you follow KALUOHS on Instagram. Check in with us this Friday at 9:05 from Glendale's house. We're going to do a replay of this very show next Monday as well. So you'll get to see a rebroadcast next Monday of this very show.
So when we're yelling, we're
Yeah.
doing it live that time.
That's
We
that's
will
why
not.
that's why we said the date and the time, because at that time you're going to hear us saying it's October 30th, it's Halloween Eve, but at that time it will not be. It'll actually be November. It'll be November, and if I
Context clues, guys.
if I am correct, my friend Michael Conway will be a grandfather. Carissa is in the hospital right now. Everything is okay. She's going through it. Chris and Tally Lockhart will be parents as well. Tally is just a couple. I have my money on 11-2.
Every
Come on, baby
baby.
boy, 11-2. That's what I got my money on. I don't know what I win, but I just want to win.
Season. There's a lot of babies.
This is the
popping out
season.
right now.
So
They're
by the
like-
time you see this replay, 2 brand new beautiful souls will be a part of this gorgeous earth. Gorgeous earth to an incredible Central Florida. Thank you so much. Central Florida's been good to both of us. We try to be as good to Central Florida as we can. We try to incorporate everybody that we can. A lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of community. And speaking of community, we like to fly through the skies of Orlando, baby. And you're getting ready to see a couple drones do that. It's going to be played on planes doing that. So the lovely lady you're about to see in this video is the great and one and only KALUOHS. And we hope to see you soon. The door is always open. I'm super excited to have you back whenever you want. And I hope you guys like this video. I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. They did a great job. We're going to add that to the stage there. Look at that. That's a great shot right there. I know what it feels like to drive down this part of the road right here.
I actually,
All of
you
this.
can see my old building. I
Really?
think.
That's awesome.
Is that-
Yeah, I mean, this is...
If that's I-4.
Yep. This
and
actually,
this is going,
yeah, this actually
if that's
curves
the
off right
Seacoast
here.
Bank
Yep.
building, I worked
Yes.
in it.
Really?
Oh wait, no, that's the Bank of America building. So that's 408.
Awesome.
That's I-4 on,
Yeah,
on the left.
it kind of breaks off over
Yeah,
here, I
'cause
think.
that's
Yeah.
newer developments because that's
Yeah, this is good. I mean,
Charming.
we've been here. We know what's going on. We've lived here for a long
just had
time.
to get oriented.
And we're just getting oriented, baby doll. So I hope you guys are digging it. Thank you very much for spending some time with us. We hope you appreciate this. And here, once again, incredible KALUOHS on Skylines, Decoded Orlando.
Look out your window. If you're lucky, you'll see green forest preserves and clear blue lakes spanning a horizon dotted with serious high-rises and whimsical recreations. On the city outskirts, there's Epcot's Spaceship Earth, and downtown, the skyscraper built on top of a skyscraper at 200 South Orange. This is Orlando. Beyond the theme parks and businesses, a different kind of showpiece draws you to an artistic oasis in the middle of the city with an international story of its own to tell. Welcome to Skylines Decoded.
To many, Orlando means theme parks. But when you go to Orlando proper, you do see that richness of local artists and entrepreneurs far outweigh the parks. I personally love to use the Mills 50 area as kind of a sketchbook. As a muralist, I tend to like to get into those back roads a little bit more and seek out that public art, and to me, that's taking inspiration from those who've gone before me. And I think that the more public art there is, the more engaged the community will be around it. This is Lake Eola Park, the centerpiece of Orlando's downtown. When you first enter Lake Eola Park, no matter what side of the lake you come in from, it's kind of hypnotic. You're passing all of these different sculptures, and they're incorporating movement and nature. It's right in the middle of the city. It's kind of like Orlando Central Park. I really wanted to do a mural focusing on Lake Eola for all of the different architecture and structure. I wanted it to be whimsical and playful and fun. What's so different about the Centennial Fountain is that it's this giant bulbous structure that comes up out of the water, and it's teal, and then when the lights go off and there's all these different colors happening and then water shooting up out of it, it almost looks like a little tiny greenhouse. One of the pieces that absolutely stands out is the red Chinese ting, or as we locals call it, the pagoda. You walk up to it, you start to recognize more details in the architecture that is so strikingly different to everything else you see in Orlando.
As you get closer, you do start to see those little edges and how every single shingle on the roof has a pattern pressed into it.
It's a really powerful statement piece, and it's even more interesting to know its backstory and why it came here in the 80s. It was donated by Dr. Nelson Ying in 1987. It honors the sister city relationship with Guilin, which also has a lake with several pagodas of its own. This was a gift to the city. It was actually built in Shanghai and had to be disassembled, shipped to Orlando, and reassembled in the park. When I go to Lake Eola, I love to take my sketchbook with me. Just sitting down and looking around, inspiration will strike you. I think Lake Eola is the perfect place for the community to gather and have that space to share time and enjoy nature in one place that takes you away from all the hustle and bustle, to just sit and enjoy the outdoors.
That was awesome, guys. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you Friday at 9:05. My name is Billy Floyd. Take it easy.